Кого ты будешь делать?
Нет, нет.
У нее строение тела похоже на дерево. Я сделаю негра. Негр-эльф.
Совсем.
Какие они все страшные.
I used to be a slave, kept under the thumb of the master, the bastard that made me hunt down my own kin. How did he do that, you ask? With the living scar you see on my cheek, this horror that takes no more than a song sung by Master Dearest to control my very thoughts. But now the tables have turned. I broke my shackles. And when I finally find him, I will make the master sing a very different kind of song.
Ты какой талант берешь?
Талант? Если меня убивать, я снова встаю. Мне надо его тоже какую-нибудь магию качать. Не знаю, как.
Так. А инструмент ты какой взял?
Третий, по-моему.
Жалко, что нельзя изменить.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rabble panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy.
Кто вообще придумал такое название для тюрьмы? Радость. Дебил.
I'd come here to kill Godwoken. but instead I became part of their story.
Хватит. Вообще уж. Боже.
The indignity.
What did they
I'm
do to
supposed to send people down to the dungeons, not the other way round. Let's get our bearings.
Bones are so boring. Without flesh, there's no memories to be had.
Ящеры тоже высокие.
Да.
Ah, you're up. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters.
Дворянин.
Oh dear. I'm afraid you're a long way from home, my lord. A long way from the little bells that make footmen come a-running.
Index fingers pressed to her lips. She pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word. You do seem a
А
bit
почему ты
befuddled,
цвет
don't
кожи не
you?
поменял?
Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative.
Я почему-то не менялся.
Да ладно.
Красный полетел.
Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely.
Ну, другой цвет нельзя,
Eventually.
что ли, поменять?
In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort George. A new life awaits. And if you're a...
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling,
Rheumatism.
bursting, then breaking, only to fade back
Спина
into your
заболела.
soul like rain into the
Вещи.
earth.
For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
Сейчас такой йос-йос покажу.
Good gods, there's been a murder here.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of. We'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Not with that collar on you, Aunt. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the pack. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. I just want to catch whoever did this before they hurt anyone else.
Отверни ее.
Отвернуть?
В сторону стены.
Я не могу зайти.
No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic.
Что, не можешь зайти, что ли?
Ну что-то был у него, что ли?
Там у него конечность была.
Вообще уж. Вкусненькая.
Ошейник. А если я съем, то что-то увижу вроде как. Ой-ой. Я пошла.
А ты же отменил эту поездку.
В смысле?
Прям ты его вроде отменила. Я вроде видел, ты его
Нет.
отключился.
Это нельзя отменить.
Прощай.
Так. Нет. Ну вот, придется загружать
Мы-
заново.
Всё.
Ah, you're up. There. In the means, you'll find him on the other side of this deck. Dungeon? You have the...
Index finger.
My word. Oh well, a new wife for my people.
Currents of
Ma. There you have for your...
Что происходит?
God! There's been a murder here!
Ugly sight. Burns me. Finn didn't see. We'll find.
She looks.
I was on. You're one of the own. Not with that. Listen, bring me a good lead. Thanks. No marks. No indications of a struggle.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
As the dead man's flesh
О,
slides down your
смотри.
throat, you feel his consciousness enter yours. His memories are yours to experience. You are Finn.
А ты можешь подслушать?
Да.
Your heart is heavy. You know too much. It's all too much. You met him. A bright light blinds you, then fades. You feel a tremendous power in your hands, but they are shaking so hard you can barely use them. Suddenly you're on this very ship, crouched in a corner, hugging your knees. A figure approaches, an older woman. Her eyes are kind. She comes closer. She says she wants to talk. She reaches a hand toward you. You grasp it. The memories end. You are no longer Finn. You return to yourself.
А, это, наверное, эта баба его убила,
Какая?
которую захватили.
So, anything interesting for me? From his memories, you ate something off his corpse? Please, don't tamper with the evidence, especially not like that.
Переведено одно предложение, она сказала больше, намного.
Yes.
As for the older woman, I'll have to check out the ship's log. If she's aboard, I haven't met her myself. Must avoid us. If you meet anyone like that aboard, maybe you could talk to her. Casually. No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic.
Ты лечишься от того, что по крови, что ли, ходишь?
Не знаю.
Тебе там прибавлялись.
Сейчас посмотрим. Да нет, вроде. Я лечусь, я ж съела этот трупака, вот я и лечусь.
The young woman seems about to raise her hand, but quickly remembers herself and nods.
Who indeed? Why, my name is,
The children break out into
I say, it is!
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Nope. Trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run as quickly as they came. The clouds clear.
Good luck, Chief.
Бешеная женщина.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
You look a little bit elfish. Maybe your daddy was an elf.
Волшебник.
Do you know Lo, sir? She's a real... Ah, there you are.
Ля-ля-ля.
Would you please tell this...
Mad? No.
Острый
Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with gold. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't...
Listen up, kiddo. You hear that?
Вот так.
The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling.
And?
And
A common sort of sound, isn't it? Where that's all you hear, though. Listen there now, just like that. Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back.
There, you heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, kiddo. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been traveling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate, even here. No, indeed, kiddo. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallion.
That'll be all, thank ye kindly, kiddo.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific...
Did you see the body? They ought to let you taste a bit. Maybe you'd find out who done it.
Ой.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this trampy fat.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck. He winks.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago.
standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced magister draws one finger across his throat. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the joy. Away from interested parties. No. The dead man, Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. And
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The joy, I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since wonder if we'll get to meet the ringmaster himself. Not eager to bow before the great Bishop Alexander, son of the divine himself. My sentiment.
What are you conspiring about over there? You, elf. What's your name?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet. And that bee is me.
Name.
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook.
Away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your son.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning. He reaches out and examines your face, tugging at your ears and prodding your nose.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
I am not as brittle as all that, young lady. My fingers will hardly... Although perhaps you mean... Oh dear. I seem to have crossed some cultural taboo. How... difficult. You have my apologies, fellow elf. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once. Perhaps. Perhaps not. Take this book, for example. I understand all of it, and yet none of it makes sense. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Most unusual. And if it's not too rude to suggest, not much of an answer. No. I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Of course you don't have any useful information. Why did I expect anything else? Now please, run along. I have a will to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eye.
Сейчас опять все записи просрешь, ничего не записываться не будет.
Я вообще-то слежу за этим.
You faring okay so far?
Магистр Пейди.
Of course I do. Seems void walking dog. You'll see. You head on in now.
Боже.
Бабушка.
И хвост такой у тебя.
You spot the sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around.
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precise.
Сохни.
What's happening?
Не знаю.
No time for chatter. We've got to get out of here.
Что нашел?
Саблю.
А у тебя какой класс?
Рыцарь. Я долго ты будешь сидел.
Тут вроде ключ где-то был. Или нет?
Жалко, что прочно сломался.
The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud.
Что ты там делаешь?
Пытаюсь сломать дверь.
The magister lies on the floor.
Как же ее сломать?
Ломать?
Ты вообще... Это будет долго.
Я готов.
The long, sharp needle is blackened with the ink that fuels its purpose, to tattoo the names of those you hunt upon your skin.
Смотри, я применила иглу, у меня в инвентаре была.
Да.
И она этой иглой выписывает на своей коже имена жертв.
Ink fuels the needle's purpose. This single word fueled master. He is the center of your search. He will be the pinnacle of your vengeance. Only when he is dead will you truly be free. You recall Karia, House of War. She died burning. Sometimes you think you hear her soothing Stingtail, House of Dreams. You have come here to confront him because he cut the slave mark into your cheek. Perhaps he can undo it and point you in the direction of the hated master.
А этот желохвост, ящериц, помнишь? Он, оказывается, ей на щеке вот это клеймо выбил.
Hand up. He knew your name, gurgled it through blood. You killed him, Diliana. A white, naked corpse on the forest floor. Handra. A vague Kuma. Silius. You've not even a old as trees, Panda. He knew your Diliana. You recall Hippos. House of Green. You recall Tele. House of War. The poison made. You recall Davi. House of. You recall Sadas. House of. You recall Neil. You recall Sadas. How.
А где же эти имена у него вырезаны?
Под трусиками.
Ика.
Каратист.
Почему она по-другому умеет? Та умеет.
Побился. Нож.
Что это?
Чёрт. Короче, друг.
Что-то ничего нет, что ли? Чем били? Спрашивается. А, зелье я нашла, и все. Ой.
Двери-то отстой.
Делать нечего.
Но я никого не могу позвать. Я никого позвать не могу.
Пойдем отсюда.
Пойдем.
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters.
The hound paws desperately at its snout. It winces as it draws. The dog notices you for the first. It sneezes suddenly.
Can't smell. Please, make it stop.
The dog whines and.
Doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
Alexander, the boy bishop that would rule the world. Oh, the folly of youth.
О боже. Вообще уже.
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches out.
Another sorcerer!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't.
Some crazy banshee comes screaming through.
He whispers loudly to the other magic.
Don't just cower there, Rix. Take out.
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand.
Че, убеждения прокачаны?
Я крутой.
Rix looks to his companion, who then looks to you. They drop their hands to their sides.
Go then. Get out of here. Get on with you. Just leave me be.
Мне даже нечем атаковать. Что ты сделал?
Они видят, что я ломаю двери, им это не нравится. Не пошли уже.
Где оружие, ё-моё? Ага, сейчас.
Как бы на первом этаже был
Ой,
лук.
нашла.
Там был сундук, там был лук.
Где?
На первом этаже.
А где сундук?
Там стоял слева.
Сейчас. Вы чё, больные? Этот скелетон тут сидит, книжку читает.
You pass through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and a glorious jewel sits in the middle of his forehead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous
No. What damn fools. It catches fire. It turns into must when wet. It cannot even resist.
The skeleton looks up and notices you.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or something?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book.
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that wants to read. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take a mask that was stolen by that damned witch. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and leaving a fellow to his business. I would say good day, but it seems quite...
The skeleton shrugs.
Вообще. А где лук на первом
На
этаже?
первом этаже. А он у тебя уже есть.
Может быть, тот лучше.
Нет. Точно.
The marking on the door was you press your palm. It doesn't budge. The door
А, туда нельзя.
I need to get out of here now.
Начинается.
Чёрчик. Позор.
Зато они не пришли к нам и не стали нас бить.
Ну.
Ну вот, взял, отравился.
Я крутой. Я крутой.
Жизнь нам не нужен.
That means there's still a chance.
Нет.
Где?
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. We need to help them.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. There's a ladder right over
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear?
А ты где? А,
The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious.
это можно не спасать, да?
Get yourself up the ladder.
Нет.
There's a Wait. Voidwoken.
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
I've faced worse.
These beardless bugs won't sink a ship on my watch.
Интересно, они могут это делать?
Да. Это сложно сделать. Хочет трансляцию. Хотел.
Почему хотел?
Ну, значит, она не хочет.
А у тебя ящер к огню восприимчив или нет?
Нет.
То есть он по огню может бегать?
Нет.
Ну чего говоришь, нет?
Значит, нет.
Поняла?
Что ты делал?
Все, они убежали. А скелет этот?
Где он там лазит?
Он на втором этаже. Книжку читал. Хотя че его спасать, он мертвый.
Надо поглядеть.
Этот лук выглядит по-другому. Цветочек.
Выжил, является.
А его уже нету.
Как нет?
Не то. Кажется, нет. А, не, сиди.
Сиди.
Please, my time is short. Although yours, I...
Не, не хочет. Надо к этой маме вернуться.
It's Magister Siwan, the one who put on this damn collar. Sounds like she needs help.
Это эльфийка так ехидно сказала. Ей
Она сказала?
помощь нужна, да. Что этой бабе нужна помощь. Ну, вообще-то не хотите. Нормально. Вообще-то ей надо помочь. Было.
А что ты ничего не делал?
Я тебя ждала.
Что меня ждать? Стоял, яйца чесал. Не знаю, я к ней подходил, там было написано, что она на вас смотрит как мразь.
Надо
и...
было после того, как всех спасли, подойти.
Что
Ну,
за
я
бред?
сейчас загружусь заново.
Не.
Да.
Без шума принес. Это мне ничего.
Что вообще уже? Блин, долго загружается. Быстрее!
Пьянь.
Oh, I must look a mess. Like my ship was attacked and sunk by Voidwoken.
Whether we're any...
Интересно, где мы? И что мы? И кто мы?
Где что кто?
Понятно. О, у меня глюш. Может, ты поднимешься ко мне? Я тут как врагов бываю одна.
Ты с ними справишься.
Слышь! Вообще. О, нет. Конечно.
Да не, какой-то.
Все посворовал.
Мне нужен царский трон.
Shut your trap, kid. The dwarf.
You see those tentacles, kid?
There's a ladder.
You're gonna be the death of us.
Все, теперь можно возбудить. А, сейчас у тебя бой будет.
These beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
I've faced worse.
Чё ж.
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
Пьянь.
Что он окаменел? Ход грязный гей. Я только сейчас заметила. Да.
Ничего смешного. Это классика. Это знать надо.
Да. Все ясно. Что тут за принц такой?
Хороший принц.
Да. За гномиком приударить, да, надо.
И...
Ты куда?
Тут...
Подожди, не делай ничего. Я пойду лук возьму.
Магистр Кобылин.
А?
Магистр Кобылин.
Чего ты сказал?
Кобыла!
Где?
Вот лежит.
Не могу с тебя.
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem
Чем
the
мы с ним
bleeding of
делать
a
будем?
gushing wound.
Давай спасем ее.
With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth, soaked with some kind of strong blood, quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm, her eyes locked with yours. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder. Siwan struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship lets out a deep groan. Then...
Интересно, она останется жива?
Возможно.
Такие лежат и болтают.
Да.
Нет бы встать. Боже, что это такое?
Это Павел шеринг пришел просить.
Вообще.
Он недавно Володя опять написал. Ну, типа, ну что, подрубишь мне?
Да уж. Интересно, кто их воскресил?
Дяденька.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Orivan.
Все поздно.
Он уже не хочет.
Он же смотрел.
Нет.
Да, там
Он
был один
запрашивался.
зритель.
Он запрашивался. Вот сладость.
Хватит шуметь. Зачем ты скриншот сделал?
Я ничего не делал. Пошли пьянь.
Whether we're any safer on this beach remains to be seen.
Бич.